Doesn't look like I'm reading it. Oh, hello, we are live and welcome to my summit where we are talking about how to raise your money vibration and embrace a prosperity mindset. And my guest today is Sue Urda, who is a feel-good gal. Now, she has impacted thousands of individuals through her transformative talks and inspirational writings that teach people to embrace the power of feeling good. She is a two-time honoree on Inc. magazine's list of the 500 fastest growing private companies. And she is an award-winning and a #1 best-selling author. As co-founder and publisher of Powerful You Publishing, Sue has connected thousands of women for business, personal, and spiritual growth, and has helped more than 350 women achieve their dream of becoming a published author. She is passionate about helping people make meaningful decisions they feel good about and move them to actions that are aligned with their values. Sue loves assisting women to find the feel good and live in that space every day. Hello, Sue. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Cindy. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I love this topic. I love what you're doing. It's so important. And starting out the new year, it's a beautiful time to do this.
Thank you. Well, our subject today is do well by doing good. It's the law of attraction in action. And one of my first questions is, what does doing well by doing good mean, and why is it an important concept for creating the abundance we want in our businesses and lives?
Well, do well by doing good is such an important concept because I think it's what we all want at a base level. That's something that we all want. We'd like to know that we're making a meaningful contribution to people, the world, maybe the economy, maybe to people's spirits, maybe to their mindset, whatever that is. And to me, that's the doing good part, right? We're putting some good service out there into the world. We're putting something out there that is meaningful to somebody else to help them uplift their life or to make it easier for them, whatever that is, solve a problem for them. So that's the doing good part, right? You're doing something good for somebody else. The doing well part is it can be a lot of things. We doing well means, hey, they're doing well. They got a lot of money. They're making money in their business. Maybe they're profitable, but it's so much deeper than that because doing well to me, and I've been an entrepreneur for more than 30 years, and doing well to me means, sure, that I can figure out a way to provide a service that is meaningful, that I can make a living off of. Because, if I got to work anyway, right? We all have to somehow have some money coming into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can do something that is meaningful, do something that I like to do, work with people that I like to work with, well, that's the well part of it, the doing well. I'm doing well if I'm satisfied, if I'm happy, if I'm on track, if I'm, on purpose, all of those things. So I think that is kind of a goal. I could go make money pumping gas, but that doesn't provide service. It doesn't allow me to share my gifts. It doesn't allow me to do something that's meaningful to me and the other people necessarily. So it's about that. That's the doing well by doing good part. And really the law of attraction feeds right into that because law of attraction is, what is like unto itself is drawn. So if I am in that space where I am doing something that is meaningful, where I am being of service, where I am being helpful and creating ease for somebody else or empowering somebody else, then that's going to do the same thing for me. So whatever I put out into the world in terms of service, in terms of a good feeling place, when I am working with people, then it comes back to me and it feels good for me too. So I love that. And also doing well, to me, means being authentic, that I can just be who I am. And so, I can be me, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but no one is. But, if I can be me, I attract to me people that are like-minded, people that are of like spirit. And so I get to work with them. And what an honor to do that. So, I think that those are the kind of things that, especially if you're an entrepreneur, and I'm guessing that a lot of people that are listening to this have their own business or practice or something like that, you being able to be yourself and not have any pretense, not have any stuff that is in the way between you and the people that you work with. Well, that's definitely, to me, that is doing well, and that feels good to me. And feeling good. We're going to talk a little further about what feeling good really means, but this is important stuff, and I think it's what we're all here for.
Exactly. And I love that about doing good to feel good. I know sometimes when I get in a slump and I want to get out of it, so I think, okay, what can I do good today? Who can I contact and uplift their spirits? And you're right, it does really, really help.
Absolutely.
So, Sue, you've had 30 years of experience as an entrepreneur. Can you tell us what that experience taught you?
Yeah, being an entrepreneur, it's taught me a couple of, well, many, many, many things. Let's start there. There's so much to learn, of course. And, I, out of college, I worked for an organization, a couple different businesses, couple companies, corporations. And, what I learned in those corporations was, first of all, I had to answer to somebody else, that somebody told me, these are your responsibilities. You have to do this, then you get your paycheck kind of thing. And all of that. And it was great. I did enjoy it. I learned a lot then, but that was only for a few years, really, from 1982 to 1989. And then in 1989, I joined my dad in a business that he had just started. And it was a manufacturing company. We were manufacturing lighted signs and displays, neon signs, a lot of those, and doing some lottery signs that put up the jackpots, those kind of electronic signs and things like that. And this was back before they had all of the stuff online and all those. It was all different then. But I was with him for 5 years, and that was really my first taste of being an entrepreneur, because even though, yes, it was my father's company, I also had stock in the business. I was the vice president, and we grew that business pretty dramatically in about 5 years. And I got my first taste of being an entrepreneur because my dad gave me free rein with a lot of things. I was in charge of a lot of people in the business and all of that. And so what I learned with him was that, and he taught me this, is really, you have to be good to people. You have to really be good to the people that work for you. Yes, they can be all different skill levels, all different education levels. It doesn't matter. You always treat them like they're the most important person in the world, and let the job that they are doing matters. And that it's important, and you want to always fill them in and let them know how they fit into everything that's happening along the way. And so that was a wonderful lesson, because I brought that into my other businesses in the next 25 years since then. My dad passed in 1994, and that was a whole other thing, and it was catastrophic, and it was sudden, and we had to file for bankruptcy for the business, and just a whole bunch of things happened. And I learned a lot in that process as well. But the lessons that I know that matter to the people that are listening are this: people matter. They matter. It matters how they feel. It matters that they understand what is going on. It matters that they know that they're contributing and making a difference in the company as well. Also, cash flow really matters. That is something that, as entrepreneurs, I think that we start a business, we have these ideals, and it's like, I'm going to create this wonderful product or service, and I'm going to do all this stuff. And then, you don't, maybe you haven't planned for the cash flow, because there are always unexpected expenses. That's definitely a lesson. There's always something that you just don't know is going to come along, where you need an extra $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is. You need to plan for that. And it's a backup plan. It's a rainy day fund. It's whatever you want to call it, but you need cash to go. And another thing that I will say that I think might help a lot of people that are listening who are entrepreneurs, you can have your products or your services, set your prices for what you think is fair, what's it worth, what is the value of what you're providing to the people. But then be flexible with that, not in the sense that you're lowering your prices, but in the sense that you can probably raise your prices. So for instance, just recently, and I've been in different businesses. That was manufacturing. After my dad passed, we started another manufacturing company doing kind of the same thing, a different business because of the bankruptcy. We did that. We grew that to a $5 million business in 5 short years. That was great. That's where we got on the Inc. 500 list. And then we started a women's networking organization. So there was flexibility there, and the pricing that we charged, like that was a membership organization. We started with a $59 membership. We ended up with a $209. Then we went down to $159. So the pricing depended on the value that people are willing to pay. That's always what the value is, by the way. Whatever somebody is willing to pay. It's kind of like you're selling your house. Was it worth $100,000 or $1 million? Well, worth whatever someone is willing to pay, really. So you can do the same thing with your services. So for instance, we have a publishing company right now, and we have publishing packages. And we, a couple years ago, we raised our price on our packages, $500, and nobody blinked an eye. The new people we were talking to that came in and said, wow, that's a great value, just like the other people had done, but we didn't know we could make $500 extra on a package. So
Sue, how can someone know if they are on the right path for themselves?
it's so interesting because people do ask that. It's like, how do I know if I'm doing the right thing here? Like, because we literally have every choice is available to us, right? We can choose anything we want to at any given time. And, there are always parameters that mostly we put on ourselves, by the way. People say, oh, I can't do that because I might have to move, or I can't do that because my wife wouldn't be happy, or I can't do that because I've got little kids, or I can't do that because I'm too old, or whatever it is. But really, knowing if you're on the right path is always a feeling place, and there's no other way to know that except you're feeling your way through. And there are signals along the way too. Like, for instance, when you are doing what is your divine purpose, because I think that we all do come here with some kind of divine purpose. And, some people don't know what that is. They just, don't get exposed to it. Maybe they don't know anybody else that's done it. And they think, well, it can't be that because nobody's done that. How could I have this unique idea or this unique way of doing something? Because surely somebody would have come up with it by now. But you would know you're on the right path too, because you will just kind of know it in your gut. And that's where things hit me. Some people have different experiences. Some people I know, they know that they're doing the right thing if they get a tingling on the top of their head, or they know they're doing the right thing if they get that feeling in their heart, like it expands or something like that. For me, it's in my gut. I just know, like I get, and it's not a pit. There's a difference, right? I get a pit in my gut sometimes if I'm on the wrong path. But when I'm on the right path, I do get kind of a tingling, warm sensation in my belly, basically. So you will know. You have to figure out, what are the tells for you? What is that signal for you, knowing that? But the other things that are more tangible, you'll know if you're on the right path for you, is if people start to show up, or you go on YouTube and it's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly the lesson that I needed today. I needed to hear that thing, and it just popped up in my feed. How did that happen? I don't know. Or you're on Facebook and you're scrolling through and there's a meme that pops up. It's like, oh my gosh, that's what I needed today. Those kind of things just start happening and you start noticing them more. So really you need to ask yourself the question, so am I doing the right thing? Or is there something I need to pay attention to? And when you ask those questions, you become more aware, and your brain, you have this reticular activating system that guides us through that in our brains. It says, okay, this is what I'm paying attention to. Kind of like if you're going to buy a car, you start noticing all the cars that are like the car that you want on the road, where you didn't see them a month ago before you were thinking about buying the car. Same thing. Okay, so you say to yourself, what do I need in my business right now? And all of a sudden, here comes a teacher along and somebody says, oh, this book, you should read this book. It's wonderful. Or you just you see a commercial even. It could be anything, But those things start to show up and you start to pay attention. You start to notice them more. Also, circumstances show up, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like maybe you never, walk down the street and notice that there was a shop right there in your own town that has information for you or can guide you to the people that you need or something like that. It just, and things just start falling in place. You just kind of see, okay, yep, this is what I think is the right path for me. And you know what? These are little signs. They're telling me that is absolutely true. This is the right path for me. And I think also, and maybe this is the most important thing, it goes along with that feeling good. You have that feeling place. Well, you start to enjoy things more. You start to, it feels right. It feels maybe it might not be easy, but there's a sense of ease about it. And you have this peace knowing that, yep, this is for me. It's like this, I'm following my calling. I'm noticing that this stuff is working. So I think that that's how you know if you're on the right path.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I know there's a few times I didn't listen to my gut or my heart, and I thought of something, oh, this is going to be wonderful, and I didn't take the action steps. And then guess what? The next week I see an email that someone's already had done it. It's like, ah!
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We got to pay attention, right? And we have to just follow that. You're right. There's action steps involved too. And for me, it's about taking that inspired action. So if you get this sensation, you get this feeling, you get this idea. It's like, okay, where'd that come from? Is that, my thinking mind, or is that like my heart space? Is that me connected to my higher self, knowing that that's the right thing for me? So you get more in tune with that, and it becomes easier to follow it along the way.
Yes. Oh, great. Why do you have such a passion for helping others around the issue of feeling good?
Well, yeah, it's funny. One of my friends named me the feel good gal because I talk about feeling good all the time. And it's part of the law of attraction stuff, right? Esther Hicks is somebody that I follow all the time, Abraham Hicks. And, the law of attraction really matters. And I've noticed how it has showed up in my life and how important it is for me to feel good so that things happen well in my life. So really, that's where my passion came from, is because I've had so many times in my life over the years. I'm 60 years old, and I've had some pretty dark times, and yet I wouldn't say I've had a bad life at all, but there were some times where I felt like depressed. I was tired. I wasn't motivated. I wasn't inspired. I wasn't connected so much to life. So I feel like if I can help other people feel more connected, because then I got connected. That's the thing. I got inspired. I got connected. I followed the nudges that came along, and that is what feels good. And that's when things start working again, and that's when more ease comes into play, more peace, more love, more joy, more fun. All those things happen when you're feeling good. And Cindy, you've worked with lots of people in your life too, right? And I'm guessing you and every person listening has had this experience when you're working with somebody, and they're on their own path and they're feeling good in their life and they're a happy person, generally happy, and they're engaged. Well, that feels better to work with them. So I think, well, I would like to be that person so that the people that are working with me feel that way too, because then everything works out better. Everybody's supporting each other that way. And I do think that, the passion comes from that base, at a base level, that it's what we all want. We all want to feel good. And every choice we make is so that we feel good or feel better in the having of whatever that thing is, or the doing of whatever that thing is. There's just no other way to do that. We all feel better. So even, for example, I really do hate to clean my house, okay? I do clean my house though, because I like a clean house. Yeah, I know, like that's not uncommon, but I like my house to be clean. And so I don't like doing it, but I do it because it makes me feel good at that level. There are things too. You have to make a have a hard conversation with somebody, right? Now you're not looking forward to it. It doesn't necessarily make you feel good in the process of having a tough conversation, because it's tough, and it might, who knows what happens, but that after you do that, you're going to feel better because you've had that conversation, because it's truthful and honest and open, and it's the right thing to do. So I'm not saying feel good, just be happy, go lucky all the time. I'm saying feel good at a base level, that you are meeting your commitments, that you're doing what you know to do, you're fulfilling, what your plan is here on this planet, and you're contributing to society that way. So that feels good. That's the kind of feel good I'm talking about. And then, by the way, when you do that, you do feel happier, you do feel lighter, you do feel more at ease and peaceful. And, so I do think that we're all here to feel good. That's why we are here, because as each of us feels good, it goes out to every single person that we communicate with, every single person that we're around. Our energy, that vibe goes out into the world, and it makes the world a better place. So I think that's why I'm passionate about it, because I know what it feels like not to feel good. I know what it feels like to feel good. And if I can help anybody else feel good because it feels better, then that for me is my purpose, is to help people to feel good.
Yeah, I like that. And that's so important. I believe you have a book coming out, or is it already out, called Feeling Good? Yes?
It's going to be out this year. I had originally planned it
Wonderful.
for January. So here's the thing about being flexible in your business, by the way. I had thought, okay, I'm going to have this done in January. It's going to be out. And I changed plans. And so flexibility is our friend. This is what I
Yes.
will say to you too. It matters. I wear a necklace often. I'm not wearing it today, but it's like this circle and it has a wave in the middle. And for me, that represents going with the flow. So there have been a lot of hard things personally with family stuff in my life the past several months. So I did not have the time to write my book like I wanted to write my book. And more so that, not that didn't have the time, I didn't have the right headspace, and I wasn't there, and I wasn't connected. And so I think that it's really important to recognize that in yourself and allow yourself the time and space, allow yourself flexibility to do what you know is going to feel good. Because you got to line up your energy before you put out the service or whatever it is. So that's really important.
Yes, thank you. Well, what can we do to stay on track with our goals and mission without going into overwhelm?
You know, overwhelm is something that's easy to do, especially if you're very driven, you have big plans, you know, like me, I love to write everything down. I write everything down. I make tons of lists. That's just how I keep track of stuff. I have on my wall, and you can't see it, but right here in my office, I have got the big Post-it notes, like it's poster size Post-its. And then on those Post-its, I've got a whole bunch of little Post-its with all of the different tasks that add up to whatever it is that big goal is. So I think that, you know, that works for me. Okay. It's like, break it down, you know, keep it simple and break it down. So yeah, I've got big goals, I've got long-term goals, but I also have short-term goals. And then my action plan that is little steps along the way. And a couple of things that is great about that is, so when I look at that big goal, it can look really, wow, that's a lot. How am I going to get that done? Right. But when I can break it down into smaller pieces and chunks, you know, chunk it down. I like that phrase. You just chunk it down. It's okay. I'm going to do this chunk this week, and I'm going to do this chunk this month. And when you do that, you set yourself up for success, because then you can celebrate along the way all the little things that get done, because they all matter to the whole of that big goal that you have. So I think breaking it down, chunking it down, working from the macro down to the micro, that really matters. That helps you to feel less overwhelmed. So even though you might see, I don't know, 30 tasks to get a given thing done, at least you know exactly what to do and you have a guideline. And one of the things, by the way, that, you know, I said before, you have to line up your energy before you do something to make sure it's all works together. Mm-hmm. Well, if I have all these Post-it notes on there and I'm saying, okay, yeah, I should do it in this order, right? But if, you know, I'm not feeling it to do this thing up here, well, I can pick any of those Post-it notes and do whatever that is. And I'm still getting something done towards my goal, but it didn't require me to line up my energy that way. It might've been something more administrative or something different than that, you know? So I like doing it that way, and that helps a lot. And also the other thing to stay on track and not get overwhelmed is, you know, for me, I have a perfect partner in my business. You know, Kathy Filer, we work together so beautifully, and we have separate responsibilities, you know, like, so I have different skill sets than she has. And so we complement each other very well that way. But I like working with somebody as opposed to working by myself, because that reason, and also because then there's accountability, because it's not just me. So I know I said about being flexible and all that, but I also am accountable to her. I'm accountable to all the people we work with, all of our authors in our publishing company. So as long as I have accountability, it does keep me on track. And somehow just, it helps not to get overwhelmed when I know there are other people involved as well. You know, it keeps me kind of honest and on track that way, but it also keeps me on time. You know, it's a good thing. And I also can get support from them and assistance from them. So I really do like creating those wonderful partnerships that you have with somebody. And a lot of people do it through mastermind. So it's not quite a partnership, but it gives some accountability that way. So you have a mastermind, they have somebody else you're telling your plans to, so that they can kind of say, so how's that going? How's that going? And so you have that thing going for you that helps you. It might push you a little bit, but I'd like to think that it pulls you along instead.
Yeah, I'm one of those gals that have the to-do list still. And I love crossing them off, because it shows I'm getting something done, even if it's just little, even if it's just cleaning house and what I have to do. Write them off. Yeah, love that idea.
Yep, me too. And I'll tell you what about the Post-its. I know this is just a funny thing. I do like all kinds of paper and pens and all that stuff. But one of the things with the Post-it calendar, we have these little tabs that are like, it's a little arrow. And so when I complete something, I put that on my little Post-it. So I'm not crossing it through, so I still have it up there, but I put that there.
Nice.
It feels good to look at all these little pink tabs. You know, but I like it. It's fun.
Yes, it is. We have to make it fun, right?
Make it fun. Absolutely. I mean, you know, like if it's drudgery, we're just not going to get as far. And you know, I feel like I said, we're here to feel good in the process. So let's make everything feel as good as possible.
Yes. Well, do you have any final words or advice for our listeners?
Yep, and I've kind of said some of it along the way, but I'll say this. You might have seen this. There's a bumper sticker and there's t-shirts that says this. It says, "Ain't mama happy? Ain't nobody happy." And, I like that because it's true. And what that means to me, as we know, say you're in your household and maybe it was you as a child, and when your mother was in a bad mood or when your mother wasn't happy with something that was going on, well, then it kind of filtered out to everybody in the household, right? Everybody could feel it. And so this is how important energy is. We all affect each other no matter what. And whether I'm here in the same room with you or whether I am on on YouTube with you or whether I am across the world from you, my energy affects you and yours affects me. So I think it's up to each of us to take care of our own energy. We are responsible for our own energy. Somebody can't make us feel bad. I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt that said, "No one can make you feel bad without your consent." So you have to agree that whatever they've said or done would make you feel bad. And you get a choice about your feelings all the time. And it's always based on what you're focusing on, what you're thinking about. And that's why we're talking today, right? This is about mindset. What is the prosperity mindset? What is, for me, what is a feel good mindset? Because it's about training yourself to look for certain things. So whether it's your business and if it's about the feeling good, then train yourself to find the feel good. Train yourself to look for the feel good. Ask yourself those empowering questions. Ask yourself, what am I grateful for right now? And if you can't find an answer, maybe you are in a dark place. It's been a tough year, this COVID thing and just the political climate, a lot of things going on in the world and in our country here in the United States. It's like, wow, how maybe if I can't find something to be grateful for, it's like, how could I be grateful for something right now? If I was going to feel grateful, what could I feel grateful about? So, and if you still can't get to that place, I know sometimes it's really tough. I know a woman was going through grief one time at one of our networking meetings. She had lost her son, and she's like, we used to share gratitude. She said, "I don't have anything to be grateful for." And the question, we sat there with her, she was in that space, and she said then later, or in about a minute or two, we waited, and she said, "But if I could feel grateful, this is what I would feel grateful about, is that it could be worse. I could have lost both my sons." So you can, if you are in such a bad place, you could think about what could be worse. Now, I don't recommend that, but there's always a way to get out of that. And that maybe that's it. Maybe that's the little catalyst that said, okay, it's not as bad as it could be. Maybe it's bad, but it's not as bad as it could be. So, and that's like when you're in the darkest place. So I will just say that. Just the important thing is take care of your energy. You are responsible for your energy. Nobody else is responsible for the energy that you put out in the world or the energy that you feel. You can protect yourself from other people's energy. You can, you decide how you feel about what they're bringing to you in terms of their energy. And also the other thing is, it's all of that. And then it's about just remember, what is your why? Why are you here? If you have a big enough why, you can overcome anything. If you have a big enough why, you can get that goal that you want, because it's, whatever that thing is, there are going to be obstacles along the way. No question about it. Stuff comes up that you can't foresee. There are things that will happen that you just didn't know, that didn't expect. COVID changed a lot of people's businesses, right? We used to do business live and in person. Doesn't happen very much anymore. Once, most people don't go to expos or trade shows or healing events or any of that stuff, so we all had to get flexible. We had to, change up how we're doing things, decide how we're going to connect differently. So just remember why you want to do it, and then you'll find the way. That is just always how it happens. And if your why is big enough, and your why should excite you, why you want what you want in your life, why you want what you want in your business, and you will always find a way, or people will show up, things will happen. It will just happen that way. And again, flexibility is our friend. Be willing to shift, be willing to adjust. And because, if you get set in this thing that says, nope, this is the way I see it, this is the way it's happening, this is the only way for me, then you're going to miss out on whatever else is out here that could lead you to the goals that you want. So again, it's about feeling good. Ask yourself those questions about how you can feel good. What can I feel good about today? What am I grateful for today? What can I do that's going to make me feel good today? Who can I talk to that's going to make me feel good today? So it's, you're asking yourself those empowering questions, setting your mindset, so that you feel good along the way, so that you will do well by doing the good that you're doing in the world.
Yes, I'm really glad you brought up those points because they are very important. We need those in our lives and in our business to be successful. So thank you for sharing those with us. Excuse me. Sue, you have a gift for everybody. It's called a 21-day Feel Good Challenge. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Okay, so as you know, I think feeling good is one of the most important things we can do for ourselves. And so I have created what I call the 21-day Feel Good Challenge. And what it is a guided challenge. And I call it a challenge only because, I don't know, that's a buzzword, right? But it's not that challenging, but it will help you to challenge maybe what you're thinking, challenge your mindset to see, am I really feeling as good as I can feel? Because we know that if you're feeling good, then you bring good things into your life. So what this is a guided challenge where you will get an email in your inbox every day for 21 days. And what it is it's a little lesson there for you. And it's things from my life, basically, that's, it might take you 5 minutes a day to go through this, but it gives you a lesson that says, okay, so here's, what we're going to look at today. Maybe we're going to look at taking inspired action today. And what does that mean? Maybe we're going to look at a topic like when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right? That's the thing to do. Or, those kinds of things. But I talk about my own experience with it. And then with each of the lessons comes two things. One is a statement of gratitude, because gratitude is absolutely one of the highest vibrations that's available to us. And the other is a statement of intention. So it helps you to set your intention for whatever that lesson is for that day. And what happens with these lessons, you don't have to do the first one to the end, although that's how they'll be given to you. But basically, it's a lesson in and of itself that will help you to raise your own vibration, to raise your mood, to raise your energy, to help you to be more aligned with what is your purpose, what is your intention. And at a base level, it's going to help you feel good as you move through this, because it will start to train your mindset to look for the good.
Wow, thank you. That sounds like a wonderful gift, and everybody can have access to that gift by clicking on the button below. And Sue's information is there also. The button will take you directly to that gift. And where can people find you also?
Yeah, that's on my website, and the gift is on my website as well. So my website is sueurda.com. So it's SUEURDA.com. And then for the gift, you do /21, so 21, feel good. So sueurda.com /21 feel good. So I am there. People can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. And I'm available everywhere. And our company is Powerful You Publishing. That is the other thing that, we help people get their inspiring messages out into the world, because that's our way of raising the vibration of people and the planet too, is to spread these beautiful, good messages and help people feel good in their lives.
Wow. Well, I'm grateful for the good work that you do. They truly are a blessing to the world. And I have a couple of your books too. They're very, very good. I love them. So continue what you're doing. And thank you so much for being here, Sue. It was an honor.
I am grateful to you, Cindy. Thank you so much for having me. And listeners, I hope that I've helped you to feel good today. And Cindy, you're wonderful. You're doing beautiful work in the world. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Okay, till we meet again. Thank you, everybody.